to first. The Angels have no hit. The Seattle Mariners racing back to the track. Gone! Big fly for Mike Trout. There it is. Hit number 3,000 for Albert Pujols. Gone! Big fly, Ohtani shot. Walshot leaps up, and he got it. Oh, my! Jared has no hit. The Minnesota Twins. The Angels, world champions.
Hello and welcome to Halfway Around the Halo, the Angels UK podcast. I'm Nick Wright, your host. We're back again for season 8. Can you believe it? And thankfully, Toby Barnes has once again agreed to join me for this season. Toby, how are you doing? How's your off-season been? Let's leave baseball, talk about you. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I think it'll be my third season now on the podcast. So hoping for that third season bounce, as they all say, because everyone talks about that, right? So hopefully we can make it. What do we get to? 6 in the first year. We got to 12 episodes last year. Hopefully we can make it a bit further than that this year. But yeah, off season's been good. It's been if any video listeners out there can see the hair's still growing and maintaining that, it'll stay until something positive in my life happens. So whether that's Coventry getting to the Premier League or the Angels winning some games, who knows?
So you've gone back a bit already then on the Angels making the playoffs because we know that's not going to happen. So you've had to put Coventry in there as well.
Wow, it's looking good for them, but I might keep it anyway. I quite like it.
Yeah, I like it too. You got it sorted now. Obviously, a lot of conditioning on that, a lot of grooming, a lot of looking after.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of effort nowadays. It takes me way longer to shower than it should.
Wow. What you do in the shower is your own business, Toby. I don't need to know any about that. And you just made me think there. What did Ange Postecoglou say just before he got sacked? He said that season 3 is always better than season 2 in any TV show. So let's hope that's the same for Halfway Around the Halos. It has been a long off season. The last time we recorded was after Kurt Suzuki had just been hired. I know at the time neither of us was particularly happy with that hire, not so much because of who it was, just what it symbolized, I think, for where the Halos are as a franchise. We are now 5 months on. We're in the midst of spring training. We're 2 days in. We'll talk about that in a second because it's a funny start to spring, but we've had 2 games and the season is fast approaching us. Toby, has your feeling on that Kurt Suzuki hire changed since October? Are you still in the place you were back then? If you even remember the place you're in back then.
I'm very much still in the space of it was an uninspiring hire at the time. It's been an uninspiring off season, and I do feel like everyone's on 1-year deals this off season. There's been no multi-year deals, and obviously in the baseball there's huge talk about a lockout coming kind of off season next year. And I do think that everything that the club is doing is basically to avoid kind of having to pay players through the lockout or kind of owe anybody extra money. So it just feels like kind of a money pinching exercise, as everything seems to have been in the Angels the last kind of 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's going to where I wanted to start with this whole podcast, because we can talk about what's happened in the off season all we want. I mean, the Angels made some moves. We'll get to them. But the thing I think that is so topical this week and why I wanted to record right now is Arte Moreno, once again, he doesn't speak very often, but when he does, he has that ability just to frustrate and rile us all up to the point of it's like we're living in a different world to him, I think. It's like we have such different perspectives on what is reality. And this week, he managed to come out. I mean, one, he made some comment around selling the team. Now, it wasn't the team's for sale and I want to sell, but it was a case of lots of people want to buy baseball teams. I like owning a baseball team, but I'm getting old, right? That's one, but that's not the main point I wanted to make. You know where I'm going with this. He said, according to all of the surveys that the Angels do, which nobody has ever seen one of these surveys. Nobody has ever commented that, yeah, I've had one. He said that Angels fans, that winning is not even in the top 5 priorities for us as a team, as a fan base, and that actually affordability and safety at the stadium are much more important than putting a winning product on the field. And he tried to caveat and say, oh, look, me personally, no, I don't believe that. I always want to win, but it's too expensive to win at the moment, effectively, is what he said. But it's just utter nonsense, isn't it? Like, how do you even unpack that? And does that not just typify everything we talked about for years on this podcast, that they do not care about winning?
I mean, I have no further points to add. It is just it's insane what kind of world he lives in. And every article I've read since kind of that was published in the issue register, they've tried to approach the Angels or Arte himself asking for evidence of these surveys, and there's been a decline into comment, a pleading of the fifth, as all the Americans would say, in that they don't want to cite any references or anything. It's just, yeah, all the surveys. And we've been friends for a long time. I'm sure you subscribe to the email list just as I do. I've never received an invitation for a survey. We've been to games, we've never been asked for a survey at games. It, who knows what he's thinking. And yeah, he is like 80 years old now, and his kids have openly said we don't want the team. So I think it would make sense if he did choose to sell, but when you look at the product and what they have, I don't think there's a lot of value in it other than owning an MLB franchise.
But I think there's value in it in itself, and there's value being in Southern California. And that's effectively what, did you see that the MLB PA, the new director there, came out and said, look, this is a, if you
That's a whole other can of worms as well.
I don't. Yeah, that's what I said. Let's not get started on his antics. But in terms of the PA, they're effectively saying, look, if you can't make ownership work in a Los Angeles media market in Southern California, which is incredibly wealthy, what chance does anyone else have? But effectively, he's not saying they don't have a chance. He's saying the Angels should be spending money. The payroll's down to 155 million this year. Luxury tax is like it's like 100 million more than that. It is just a real dire circumstances. And I think everything that we've talked about in the last few years is really coming to fruition this year. Like that penny pinching we've seen, at least at times, whether they got it wrong, but like in the Atani contract year, they went all in, didn't they, at the deadline to try and push on, and they got the payroll right up over that luxury tax and then had to bring it down. There was an attempt to spend money. There was an attempt to win, even though we know that fundamentally this franchise is flawed and doesn't do it in the right way. But the intention was there. Now, nothing, right? There are no, this offseason, if you wanted to win, there was prime opportunity to spend some money, both hitters and pitchers, that would make a big difference to the outlook for this season and beyond. And they just haven't done that. And I think you nailed it at the start as well when you mentioned the lockout. Everything is just geared to, let's cut costs as much as we can, pretend we're trying to win by putting these sound bites out and, spending bits of money here on the bullpen here and there to try and make it work. But the reality is he just doesn't want to spend or lose any money next year. And this year is just another failure of a season before it's even begun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the delusion to think that they're competitive enough to win. I mean, Arte Moreno also said in this, in his kind of piece of the media, that while they are spending less money, he's expecting the young players to step up and expects to win more games than they did. And I don't think they haven't moved the needle enough, and you can't expect that big a leap from the players that you have to win enough games to make a difference. They're not openly tanking, but all the moves are they're not really win now moves, even though he's saying they're in win now mode. And if you're making 1 year deals, you're expecting to be in win now mode, but they're clear. We know they're not. I think they really know they're not. They're just trying to avoid it. And another thing that typifies it is Anthony Rendon. His contract has been kind of deferred over 5 years, and he's not going to play this year at all. But they're keeping on the 40-man roster.
That honestly, that deferral has blown my mind as well. Why are you deferring that cost if you were not planning to spend the money, right? The only way that made sense to the franchise for success purposes was you clear it now, you go and get one of those frontline starting pitchers and slot them in, spend the Rendon money now and show that you're trying to win. But in reality, they've just strung out this whole disaster for another 5-year period where that money is going to go onto payroll and onto payroll. And it's just another one in a long list of of things that do not make sense for a team that wants to win. But that's the problem we have, isn't it? That's the problem we have. We keep trying to frame everything as what would you do if you want to win and be a competitive baseball team. They don't want to. This ownership has no intention of doing that.
No, I mean it does cut the whole lack of TV deal kind of makes sense as to why you don't want to spend as much money, which I completely understand. Like when you have so much uncertainty over who's gonna broadcast your games for a start, you're a little bit hesitant. But if you want to win now, you go and spend more money, you make more eyeballs want to see the games, and then you have a more marketable product. Surely that makes good business sense, but I am not a businessman.
I mean, I would agree with your assessment. That's another thing that's pissed me off. Just again, no spring training games, right? We all say spring training doesn't matter. Who cares? Whatever. But for us personally, it's the one time of the year we get consistent UK friendly times. They're 8 p.m. starts every night for us. That's nice just to have the opportunity to see some of the players for that first month. But B, again, it's just another cost-cutting measure, another way that the fans are not rewarded for the insane amount of loyalty that we give them. We as fans, as a fan base, the Angels fan base is incredibly loyal. I do not think it gets enough credit for that we stick with them. And maybe, as some on the other end of the spectrum do say, maybe this is part of the problem. Maybe this is why Arte gets these ideas, because people will turn up on a lovely Southern Californian evening in the summer to sit there with an affordable ticket and, you know, some concession prices which are manageable for a family, and think, you know, everything's great because people are still turning up to the ballpark and watching them. But no, we love this team. We want to see them win. Yes, we want affordability. Yes, we want a good time at the ballpark. But more than anything, the way you get that is by winning. And as you said, the more you make more money by putting more money in, by spending it on the team, by getting a successful product. Angel Stadium will be sold out. If there's a successful product on the stadium, on the field, that stadium is a sellout. People are going to turn up. People are going to watch on TV. People are going to, you know, get behind them, buy more merchandise, get behind the player. It's just, he knew that as well, because we saw that, right? In his early in the tenure, Angels were a successful ball club, and it's just gone a completely different direction now.
I think the biggest thing that I've seen throughout the entire off season, which I haven't seen in a long time, is just apathy.
Yeah.
And that I think that's the worst word you can have to describe any franchise's fan base. It's just apathy.
Yeah.
They don't care enough about the product to go, oh, it's successful, we're going to win. But they also like, well, you're just not doing enough, so why should we do enough? And it's just kind of, I think we're in that point. A lot of people are in that space of just kind of feeling very apathetic towards where the team is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, in the off season, I barely paid attention, barely on social media. I just couldn't bring myself to get engaged in some of these discussions, because even now, I'm still feeling like I don't have the excitement. I don't have that level of, you know, usually by this time of spring, I'm getting really pumped up, ready for
We're always hyped. We are always kind of the biggest bangers of the drum of how this is going to be a different year, but I
don't have it. No, it's tough. But I think I look on the field, right? And this is part of it now. I was looking the other day. I was just thinking about this. Where is the excitement now? I think it was telling. Did you see that the report came out last week about Boston were really aggressive trying to get Zach Neto? And we turned it. He'll be gone, right? Zach Neto will be gone. Because if you look at this lineup now, Zach Neto is the star. He's the standout. He's the one player that you think could slot into any team across baseball and would be in their lineup. We love Mike Trout, but he can't stay on the field. He's going to try and play center field this year. Let's see how it goes. He had the worst hitting year of his career last year. Like, you're then looking up and down the lineup. I don't see where this progression comes from. Like, Christian Moore, let's see, not convinced. Nolan Shanuel, he's going to have to go some to get to the levels we need him to be as a first baseman. Again, I like him, but
let's hope he's been standing up all off season.
Yeah, Hoppy needs a massive bounce back year. He had a shocker last year. All right, Moncada back in. Well, let's see. He won't stay healthy. We've traded friend of the show, Taylor Ward, who, whilst people had problems with, consistent production from out there. Joe Adele had a breakout year last year. Let's see if he can continue it. But honestly, I look up and down the lineup, and there's nothing there that gets me excited other than Neto. There's nothing there that really says this team is going to make big strides this year. Even the players they've brought in, like Lowe, just yeah, we're counting on such a bounce back year from him. When does that ever happen to the Angels?
Every year we sign players who have had a down year and might have been good 3, 4, 5 years ago and go, oh, this is the year he'll turn it around, and it never happens. It never happens. I don't know how they think that because players have had bad years elsewhere, the Angels are the team that will turn them around. No, it doesn't happen. Players don't hit better when they play for the Angels. They go elsewhere and play better. Look at Griffin Canning last year for the Mets before he got injured. He was having a really good year, then got injured, and he left, and he was he was the Angels kind of top pitching prospect for a while, never put it together here, moves elsewhere and does really well.
Yeah,
There's so many examples of players who have moved on and done better, and I don't know why they think that players coming to the Angels are going to make kind of that sudden big leap.
I know it is baffling, but again, it's just trying to find ways. Uh, I'm not a big Perry fan. I think Perry's made lots of mistakes, but he's so hamstrung by what he can do from ownership. He has to try and make these moves to get some sort of value out of them because he's not given the opportunity to do anything else. Like he's had to go out and find Josh Lowe in the outfield because he has to gamble on that reclamation project because he's not able to go out and sign someone on the market for
Like Kyle Tucker or somebody like that.
he can't. Well, not even just Kyle Tucker, like the next level down. He couldn't even pay Taylor Ward this year. Like, he had to trade him because the salary was too high ultimately.
Yeah, it's a shame because Arte Moreno did say that he liked Perry and likes the moves that Perry have done, and said that Kurt Suzuki got a 1 year deal because Perry's in the last year of his contract. If you like what he's doing, surely you kind of give him more time. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. Artie also said that it's a good thing for the club that there aren't any long-term contracts after next year. Why? Since when is that a good thing? And he says that he's not in a rush to make any extensions. Neto kind of needs extending now. He needs a long-term deal. Every other club who
Why would he
has a
sign one?
good young player extends them early.
Yeah,
Why don't we?
well, I don't know why Neto would want to sign here. To be honest, I think we're gone are the days where the Angels are a destination. Gone are the days where you can keep your free agents. Gone are the days where people actively want to sign here. The one advantage we have is location. A lot of ball players grow up in the area. A lot of people obviously would like living in Newport Beach, etc. Because
But then it becomes a retirement spot rather than a progression spot.
It's what Anthony Rendon did. He moved his family there. He won a World Series, got a shit ton of money, came over. We see it. Oh, it's frustrating. If we're going to do a positive, I do think that the rotation this year has lots of promise. And whilst I would have I think it's missing a piece. I think you're still missing a frontline starter. Kikuchi, I think you know what we're getting. I mean, I think he's a good 3.
League average.
Yeah, I think he's maybe a 2 on a good day, but probably a 3. Grayson Rodriguez was a good pickup. If he's healthy, again, he is for Taylor Ward. That was a nice move. Reed Detmer's back in the rotation. We saw how dominant he can be as a closer or back end of the pen last year. Soriano, hopefully another year's experience. I really like him as a pitcher. That's a nice 1 to 4. Yes, there's no ace, but I think you've got some 2s and 3s there that actually have the makeup of a good rotation. Then you got that 5th spot. Like if Manoa can bounce back, not expecting much, did have a decent start in spring yesterday, then maybe that rotation could be quite nice. And then you have the young guys, obviously, in AAA. Whether it works out like that for the Angels, who knows? But I do think as an area of promise, it's probably our best.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just hope. The Angels are trying to fill us all with hopium and trying to say, oh, this guy, if he's healthy, can do this. This guy, if he's healthy, can do this. Grayson Rodriguez does have ace potential. Is he going to reach it with the Angels? Remains to be seen. If it can even stay healthy. Hopefully, he says he's healthier than he's ever felt. So
they all say that.
I'm inclined to believe that because yeah, of course he is. He's had spurs removed from the bones around his elbow. So yeah, that's going to cause a lot of pain no matter who you are, whether you're kind of throwing baseballs for a living or not. It's gonna be causing some pain. So hopefully he does stay healthy. And yeah, I think with Mike Maddox as the new pitching coach who came from the Rangers, he could also be a very shrewd move in terms of the players that he's been able to develop under his many years of experience too. So yeah, you are right. It could be another a good year for the rotation. And then you go into the bullpen, it's more just 1 year deals for guys that may have been good, may be good, may not be good. Who knows?
Yeah, I wasn't even going to bother on the bullpen on this episode. We'll get into that on when we break down a bit more before the season starts. But yeah, as you say, it's just 1 year deals again, hoping something sticks. There's no set closer there. There's obviously Joyce and Stevenson are still here. They signed Kirby Yates, didn't they? There's people with some back end experience, but nobody that you can
And
get.
injury history.
Yeah,
That's always.
I think there's a lot of Angels pitchers on the bubble. I think a lot of guys that we've got used to seeing coming up and down the last few years that are now out of options or either have to make the team or be cut. I mean, I think Chase Silter is one of them who had an absolute shocker yesterday. But we'll see. Yeah, bullpen. It's a bullpen that Perry always has to try and make up in the way like this, and it's the only place he's ever really allowed to spend any money because it's such small amounts in comparison to anything else.
So yeah, in terms of, I say, Detmers has moved from the bullpen back to the rotation. Shall we kind of try and end on a bit of a positive note? And how excited are you to see him back in the rotation and starting games and hopefully showing the poise and promise that he did as a 1-2 inning guy? Do you reckon he can translate that to the rotation, or how do you think
Yeah,
that goes?
I am excited. I think he can translate it. I think the stuff's there. He obviously has been a starter most of his career. He needed last year, I think, to reset a bit, but I'm very excited. I'm going to tell you a little secret. I don't know if you know, but I was actually there the day that he threw a no-hitter.
You were. Oh my God, tell me more, please.
Yes.
You've never brought this up
I
to me.
know, I know.
Please tell
You'd
me.
have thought
That's incredible.
running an Angels fan account and the podcast and stuff, I'd have mentioned it. But no, I was actually there that day on a trip. I was over in the States. I was sitting out there just watching, praying, hoping, and Reed went in through this no hitter.
Wow. So how many games are you going to try and go out there for every fifth game this season? Just to hope that lightning strikes twice.
Well, I'm hoping that Reed will probably throw a few no hitters this year. So yeah, I probably should try and get there for all of them.
Yeah, we should do a halfway around the Halo, going halfway around to go and try and do some live recordings out from Angel Stadium.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows if we'll be there this year? It's not the most inspiring thing, is it? Being quite frank, to get over there at the moment, but you never know how things go.
Yeah,
Maybe they can surprise us all.
yeah, we shan't delve into US politics either.
Oh, absolutely not. Let's stay well out of that one. The world is burning right now, judging from social media at the moment.
Indeed.
Yeah, things are not looking so great there. Toby, what are your things look ahead for the season then right now as we're on the second day of spring? Can I just say how funny was it, that defeat to the Dodgers, first game of spring, 15 runs conceded. It was just hilarious. 15-2 was it in the end?
Angels baseball was well and truly back. There was a fantastic tweet from Jeff Fletcher, who works at the OCI, said in the first 52 minutes of the game, so that's quite a decent chunk of a game. You'd expect that to be at least half, kind of almost halfway of a game usually. The Dodgers sent 19 batters to the plate. The Angels have sent 3. It's 9-0. Welcome back, everyone.
Oh my God! Well, yeah, I did a tweet on We Are So Back, and it went quite well because it's just laughable, isn't it? That's the sort of thing you just have to laugh at yourself.
But when you start your spring schedule against the best team of the last 5 years, who have won the last 2 World Series in a row, who have spent another boatload of money, and also have one of the best farms in the league, I don't know how you expect it to go. I don't know why you start your schedule with that.
Yeah, and also the fact that because the Angels have cut all of their broadcasts, we had to watch it on
Maybe that's why.
we had to watch it on the Dodgers broadcast. So you just get to hear them waxing lyrical about Shohei for 3 hours, which, you know what, there's worse things in the world.
Oh, don't say that to some Angels fans.
Yeah, well, they need to get over that one. He's an absolute superstar.
Yeah, we've got the World Baseball Classic coming up soon
Yes.
as well, so there's something to get excited for.
Come on,
Actually,
GB. Do you think GB are going to shock the world and win it all?
I wouldn't go as far as winning it all. I think they make it through the group. I think they make it out of that group.
You think they make it?
There's some incredible players that have
Well,
signed.
there's Jazz Chisholm, and that's about it.
Harry Ford.
Yeah, but we're saying incredible. Basically, we have one borderline superstar and then some good players.
There's an Angels pitcher as well who also pitched for Team
Yeah,
GB. Can't remember his name on the top of my head, but I think he pitched yesterday.
yeah, he did. He did pick you. And I asked our friends Taylor Blake Ward and Jared Timms about him. Basically said just electric fastball, good slider, can pump it up to 100. It's going to be a fun arm. If he can command it, that's a fun arm in the GB system.
Plenty more British gas. Let's go.
Exactly. No Michael Peterson in the squad, I don't think, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I'm excited for the WBC. I think I went into the last one very underwhelmed, didn't really care. As soon as it started, as soon as Great Britain started playing baseball, I was fully hooked. I think I watched it all. Just
Yeah.
electric atmospheres. It's such a shame that so many players didn't get their insurance for this one, and some of the squads are a bit weakened because the US have probably put out their best ever roster, and I think a lot of teams are struggling, which is disappointing. But still, we're going to be watching. That starts in a couple of weeks' time, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of intercontinental as well. I think there's games in the US and over in
Yeah.
Japan as well. So it'll be interesting to see the kind of the extent that travel takes out on some teams as they get towards kind of the latter stages. But no, it'll be a really good event. Like you say, I just got horrendously inspired by the last one, just seeing all of the British players who none of whom are, genuinely British, but that's the good part about the Commonwealth, right? We get to have all the players who are eligible to play for us. So no, it was good seeing all them get involved in some kind of British things. Obviously, having the cup of tea celebration and things. It was a really good event. So hopefully that can be the same thing again and give us something to be inspired about as British Angels fans.
Yeah, exactly. What else do we have? No, I'm very much looking forward to it. Let's catch up very soon then, Toby. Really nice to be back talking Angels baseball. Obviously, we are beacons of positivity right now about the state of the franchise, the direction for this season, and what's ahead. So I really hope people appreciate it.
Yeah, we might as well be on the payroll.
Exactly. You can catch our tapes, you can catch anything I say, all of the rubbish that you hear here on written form on LA Angels UK, on X, on Instagram. Catch us on YouTube. Toby, if they want to hear from you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Toby Barnes 0 on X, and it's Toby Barnes with an underscore on Instagram
Oh,
and socials. You can catch all of my um, world traveling as I do as part of my job and try and catch an Angels games in between.
there we go. Yeah, join us there and we'll be back soon. All the best, Halos.